everyone, Thomas here and welcome back to another video. So today I'm back here for another speed build, and today we're going to go ahead and build this modern Craftsman mansion. So if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, it is up on the gallery now. My origin ID is real Thomas TV1. So this is another 64x64 lot build. If you don't know, every Sunday here on my channel we do a mansion build, so we're back here for another one, even though we didn't do one last week because of something that I just had a lot on last week. I talked about that in the beachy apartment build, I think it was, but maybe I'll mention it later as well. Anyway, so this idea came about actually from a viewer request. So I got this email sent by this person called Ebony. I won't say the last name just in case, you know, they don't want to be, you know, their name tooled or whatever on the video. But they asked me if they could build me a mansion in Brilliant Bay on the 64x64 lot. They said I didn't have to furnish it, but I kind of wanted to because it was a nice house. I was really happy with the exterior, and they said that they wanted a pool and nice landscaping, and then they sent me two different floor plans to kind of look at, and I saw this one which I kind of based off this. It's not 100% the same because I never really do that for floor plans. I normally like to look at a floor plan normally and kind of just see what it's all about, what kind of, you know, colour swatches, the shape of it and stuff like that has been used, and then I kind of incorporate it into something that I want to do. I did try to kind of replicate some bits of it, so you can see we've got two garages there on the left, so I kept that in, and sort of how it's like flat on the front was sort of how it was like as well, so I did that, and then for the landscaping I kind of just did what I want with that, and yeah, so I don't know how much this is because I haven't actually, well, I said at the beginning that this is up in the gallery, even though it's not, because I'm kind of pre-recording a little bit, but I mean by that, the time you see this video, that will be up in the gallery, so yeah, and this bit right there in the house with all those modern windows on the back, this was an idea that I think I saw on this house on the interior pictures of it that was on the same floor plan, and it kind of had one of those like mezzanine level living rooms, so it was just huge big like windows going on both the floors, so what I did was that I took the floor out of that area. So the living room kind of goes up 2 floors and you've got huge big windows, it just looks really, really great, and that just ends up being a huge big room with a kitchen in there as well, but you'll see that a little bit later. So this build took me about, I want to say like an hour and a half to do, which is no time at all really, maybe a slight little bit longer because I did do the bathrooms and stuff off screen, so that probably added on a little bit of time, but not that much. So yeah, it didn't really take me that long. That's always the case with these mansion builds, just because I do them literally every single week, so you know, it's just practice and now kind of just used to it. So you can see we're doing the landscaping here, but did actually jump ahead a little bit, but not too much, just on little bits that aren't that interesting, such as the wall coverings on the outside. Now, you may find that interesting or whatever, but I do kind of not include that because for some reason when I put the exterior wall coverings on in particular, it actually makes it really laggy, my game, for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it's always done that, which is a little bit irritating. So I always have to cut that out of the recording. It's not so bad on smaller lots, but always on these 64x64 lot ones, that happens and it's so irritating. So yeah, I did, you know, take that out just so the video didn't end up being laggy or whatever. And yeah, so we're just going around with the landscaping here, and it is a little bit more simpler, I would say, which is, you've heard me talk about this a little bit more recently, is that I'm trying to make the landscaping a little bit more simple, because what I always end up doing is just kind of choosing a load of random flowers and stuff like that, which can look good at some occasions for like a very colourful build or whatever, but for the most part it does look a little bit messy. So I have started just choosing 1 or 2 other colours along with kind of like, you know, just the general white flowers or whatever they are, and the green colours. So I've been doing that a lot more just to kind of keep things a little bit more neater, and you know, just looks like it's more thought into it, I suppose, even though it's simpler, which doesn't sound right, but it kind of makes sense in a way. And yeah, so we're just going around with the landscaping, as you can see. Those low, what they're called again, I cannot remember the name of them, like low-lying flower plants or something, yellow flower plants, whatever. Those green things that I start off with the landscaping with, I go ahead and put those down off screen as well, because that is the base to my landscaping for every single build. I always put that down, and then I go ahead and put flowers on top, as you can see. So we've done the pool as well, and I think we'll go ahead and put some decorations in now. Or have we already done that? No, I think we've already done it. And yeah, so I'm currently recording this on the 12th. Should be going up tomorrow on the 13th. So I'm kind of, that sounds like, oh, I haven't really got a lot of time, but it's actually kind of good, because what always ends up happening is that on the Sunday, it goes up, in UK time, it goes up at 6:30. And then what always happens is that I'm still rendering the video at like 2 PM, which sounds like it's such a long time, but the video takes a while to render. It's just because it's, you know, a bigger build, I suppose, in terms of length, but also, like, I suppose because it's a bigger build, it's more kind of like, I don't really know how to explain it, but for smaller builds, oh my god, my voice is going, here we go. For smaller builds, they always seem to take, you know, a short amount of time to render, even if they're similar time, you know, length to a mansion build. I don't know why that always happens, so I do like to set aside some more time, you know, for that. So it's great that I'm recording this the day before, so I don't really have to worry about it as much. And then later, once I go downstairs or whatever, away from my PC, I can have the video rendering, and that'll be great. So, oh god, my voice went there. We're just working on the interior now. As you can see, all the wall coverings are done, because you're going to see that when we're going to do the, you know, the interior decorations anyway. So I always feel like it's a little bit boring, because, you know, what's the point of me showing you that and then you see it anyway when I go in and do it. And yeah, so that is the living room area. As you can see, you can't really see it from what you're seeing right now on camera, but there may be some points in the build where I go up to the second floor and you can see how it, like, you can look over the bottom floor. So I've never really done that before. I mean, I have done mezzanine levels before, but not on that sort of scale, and I think it looks really, really nice. So in terms of the name of this home, like I said, Modern Craftsman, I don't really know if it is a Craftsman style, because, I mean, I have done a Craftsman style build before. I did like a Craftsman bungalow or cottage, I can't remember, a little while ago for one of Spring Sims's monthly build challenges. So I did one of those then, but I don't really know if this could be called Craftsman. One reason is that I kind of didn't fully, copy the floor plan, and the other reason is that I don't really know what Craftsman is. Like, I mean, I know kind of roughly, but not, like, you know, in terms of what the furnishing's like and how that replicates or, you know, associates with the Craftsman style. So I don't know, you have to let me know about that. But the actual, you know, floor plan for this home that I looked at on the website was called a Modern Craftsman home, so I thought I'd just incorporate that into the name. What always ends up happening is that it is kind of a, you know, you could say that this is traditional and modern together, which is a theme that I do a lot. But the thing is that I can't really call every mansion build that name every week, because I kind of do that style a lot. So what I always end up have to do is that I have to kind of think of just random house names to name the build. So you'll see in some weeks, you know, in the builds that the mansion builds have like actual names to them and not the style of the build in the title, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to think of what I've done, like Gilland Manor. I can't think of another one, but that's just an example. You can actually go ahead and check out the mansion builds playlist. On that, it's on our channel, just under the playlist section, and I'll probably leave a card on screen now if I remember. But you can easily find it on my channel, and there you can see the full playlist of all the mansion builds I've done so far, and then you can get an idea of the names and stuff that I'm mentioning. And yeah, so we've just been working on the kitchen there. As you can see, what a big island counter in to kind of take up some space, because it is a pretty big room, that. And then this kind of leads on to the next room, which there's an archway through to it, which is kind of like the big dining formal area, I would say, and it also has a small bar area in it as well. You can see here that we're using the laundry day items, even though laundry day is a very kind of rustic sort of style to the pack. I did actually use it quite a lot in this build. Not only is our laundry room, but I'd used a lot of the plants that we got from that pack in this build, and also those laundry day stuff pack windows. There we go. I used that in today's build as well, as you can see in this room. I don't know why, it just kind of fit the theme nicely, and I really like that bay window style and how it kind of overlooks right onto the pool. So I thought that'd be nice to do. So this is the garage area, and for this room I didn't actually make it into kind of like a proper garage area. I feel like with a lot of garages that you see in real life as well, or garages however you say it, they kind of are converted sometimes, and that is kind of what I did sort of here, is that it's kind of like a multi-purpose room. So you can see that we've got the concrete floor, which is something that I see a lot, like our garage has that, and I thought it'd be kind of nice to kind of convert it in a way, which is what I see a lot of people do in their builds, if they're doing this sort of room, and also myself as well. If I do this type of room, I always convert it into kind of like a skill building activity sort of room. So you can see we've got the gym equipment and also a DJ booth as well, and a basketball hoop. I didn't actually think I was going to fit that in, and then I did fit, as you can see. And then I was kind of thinking, well, I don't know if that's such a good idea to have inside, but I suppose it will still work, because, you know, there's enough room for it. So you can move that outside if you want to, because there's supposed to be some space somewhere. So this is the laundry room here, and as you can see, it is pretty big. But the thing is that when I'm doing the floor plan, I never really think about the size of the room and what that room is going to be for. Like, maybe for the not the bedrooms, the bathrooms, I kind of think about that, because I don't want the bathroom to be this size. But, you know, I don't really think about it a lot, so that's why this laundry room turned out a little bit big. But on the other hand, it isn't such a bad thing, because, you know, it is a mansion build after all, on a 64x64 lot, so, you know, you're going to expect to see things bigger, on a bigger scale, and enlarged and stuff like that, so I suppose it kind of fits the house in a way. And you can see that we're using Jungle Adventure counters and cabinets here, which is something I've been using a lot, and you would have saw that in the kitchen, and also in my recent builds as well. I've been using that a lot more, because I normally use the parented ones, but since we've got the updated island counters for the why can't I think of it, the Jungle Adventure cabinets and counters, like I just mentioned 5 seconds ago, since I've got that in a recent update, I've been using it a lot more, because it's just, you know, it just kind of flows a little bit better, and it doesn't always look right when you have, like, you know, I don't really know, like, you know, if you're using one pack counters and then for the island you're using another one, it doesn't really flow very nicely. And yeah, so I'm sorry if you just saw a little bit of lag there. I noticed that my recording software kind of glitched a little bit, so I think it's all fixed now, but I think for a little minute there it was going all weird for a second, so I'm sorry about that if you saw that. And yeah, so what else I was going to mention? Well, I was mentioning earlier about how I missed this. This was supposed to go up last week, but it got to Saturday. So literally this time last week, and I'd only done all the outside, and I came to do the interior, which we're working on now, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Like, that's never happened before, but it just looked so big, and I had so much work to do, I just couldn't literally physically do it, so I had to miss it, which is, I mentioned this in the build, I think I said it was a beachy apartment build or something. So you can go ahead and watch that video for me to talk a little bit more. I'm not going to really repeat myself that much. But yeah, in that build I talked about that a little bit more. And yeah, so this room right here is kind of just a general living room, I suppose, or maybe just like an informal version of it, because, you know, we've got the one in that big room with the mezzanine level sort of thing, which is kind of the main living room area, but this is more of a kind of just a informal style room, really. You know, there's bookshelves, there's seating, there's a big TV, and kind of like a games console thing there as well. And then we've also got a computer here too. I've also got a study as well. I think we've done that earlier in the build, I can't really remember actually. But there's also another like functional study thing in here. This is just like an additional computer, I suppose, since it's more of like an informal room. And yeah, so I did do a few rooms off camera, because a lot of the bedrooms are similar, and, you know, I don't really want to kind of show you the same room like 3 times. That kind of sounds bad, but for these mansion builds I can't really do an original and completely unique completely unique, there we go, thing for each bedroom. So you might see some rooms that look a little bit similar, and, you know, for that I do kind of miss out a few rooms in the speed build video, just so you don't get bored, I suppose. But I do show you a few here. And yeah, so downstairs I think there's 1 bedroom, and then we've got quite a few up here as well. And I can't remember how many bedrooms and bathrooms are though, because I haven't like finished it. I've got 1 more bedroom to do, but I wasn't planning on recording that anyway, because it's similar to one of the other ones as well, so I wasn't going to include that in the footage, so I just decided to do the voiceover now as I've got a chance to. And yeah, so this one right here is purple. Now, well, I guess you could say it's purple, and I wasn't really sure what I thought about that, because the rest of the home's all kind of very bright and got lots of neutral colours and stuff like that. And I thought that maybe having this would stand out a little bit too much, but I thought it was nice because I actually started using this colour quite a bit. Well, not recently, but a little while ago, because red was a colour that I used all the time, and it got a little bit ridiculous. So I started using other colours, you know, such as purple, because it was a little bit different than I've done before. So I started using that, and then I've kind of started using it way too much again, and it kind of just turned out to be the same thing that happened with the red colour. So now we're back to neutral colours, which was what I used a lot when I started my channel as well. But I think it looks nice, and it's kind of nice to just, you know, switch things up a little bit sometimes. And yeah, so we're just working on a is this the last room? I think this might be the last room or the last two rooms that we're about to work on for the speed build video. But yeah, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this voiceover up here because I don't want to kind of overrun on the screenshots too much, which I always end up doing. But if you have any more kind of, you know, requests or any floor plans that you want me to take a look at, then feel free to do that, like what Ebony did for this build here. And probably the best place to do it, and the same that she did as well, is to send me it on my email, which is contact.thomastv@gmail.com. That's in the description, along with all my other social links. And the reason that it's a good way to do it there is because I sometimes can get lost with all my Twitter mentions and comments and stuff. So if you really have an idea that you want me to do, then that's a good place to do it, because I don't get as many emails as I do other notifications, so it's easier to keep track of it. And yes, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this voiceover up here. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, share and subscribe if you haven't, and go ahead and download this from the Sims 4 gallery. My origin ID is real Thomas TV1, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!